Welcome back, students. This is our second video tutorial in which I'm going to show 3ds Max basics. Right now what I need to teach you is how to work on each of these viewports and some of the most important shortcuts that you need to use to move, scale, rotate, and select any kind of objects here in 3ds Max. So let's get started. If I want to maximize one of these viewports, what I have to do is first to click on the viewport to select it and hit and hold the Alt key and hit the letter W. Alt W is going to allow you to get in or get out from one viewport. If you select top, Alt W, okay, takes you to the maximize window of that. If you select Alt W, that gets out. So, conclusion, every time we need to maximize one of these viewports, I first select it, then I hit Alt W to maximize it. Okay, let's continue. So I want you to please maximize the perspective, and here in this viewport I'm going to show you some of the tools that we need to start modeling. The first thing that maybe you have to know is that 3D model, there are two different types of 3D modeling. One with NURBS, like vectors, and the other one with polygons. Polygons are geometric shapes. Okay, so here in 3D Max we have different groups or types of shapes. Okay, we have one called standard primitives. These are the standard primitives. We have boxes, we have spheres, we have cylinders, we have torus, we have, this is very common in 3ds Max, it was like their symbol is almost useless, but it's there because it's very important for them. The teapot. We have cones, we have lots of shapes that we can use to model. If I click on the standard primitives, I'm going to find more groups, but I'm going to let you explore the rest. Okay, so I'm going to select all these shapes and I'm going to delete them all to continue with my explanation. The first thing that I want to teach you is how to move in this viewport, the perspective one. As I told you before, we have a grid that you can hide and show with the letter G on the keyboard. Okay, this can be like the floor of the things that we need to model, but if you want to hide it, nothing is going to happen. You can even keep modeling there. Okay, so let me show it. The grid can be moved with a little black hand like this. How do I do that? I hold the scroll of the mouse and I'll see the little hand and move the mouse to the left or to the right. To zoom in here, the only thing we have to do is to move the scroll up or down, zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so easy. If something like this happens, I zoomed out too much and I also moved the grid and I cannot find it, if I hit the letter Z on the keyboard, that takes me to like the 0 point. This is like the Control 0 in Photoshop. Okay, now another thing, how can I pan? Pan is rotate, okay, around the object or move the grid like this. Okay, so there are two ways. First way is, you see here on the top right corner of the perspective viewport something called the view cube. With the view cube, what I can do is to rotate around the object. I can use it for that. I don't use it too much for that because I think I waste time doing this movement. Okay, I leave it there just to see where, in which side I'm modeling. If you see, all the sides of this box have a name. We have the right, we have the front, we have the left, we have the top, we have the back, and we have the bottom. So it's just for like a reminder. Okay, it reminds me where I am. So what is the second way to model? Not to model, sorry, to pen. I prefer to pen doing this. I'm going to hold the Alt key, hold the scroll, and move the mouse, okay, in the direction that I need. That's panning. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you some of the shortcuts that we are going to be using. Alt W, Control Z, and some others. Let's get back to 3ds Max. Okay, so those are like the basic movements that I need to know. I'm going to make a box just to teach you here the four, for me, most important tools tools that we can learn and that we can use when modeling. They are 4 keys: the letter Q, the letter W, the letter E, and the letter R, one next to the other one. If I have, for example, a shape like a box here, and I need to select it, I hit the letter Q, and then come to the shape and click on it. If you see, it's selected because there are some white lines around the whole shape. That's the selection tool. If I have that shape selected, but I hit the letter W, we are going to see 3 arrows. That's called here in 3D Max a gizmo. The gizmo has 3 arrows of 3 different colors that represent the 3 different axes that we have in 3D Max. We have the Z axis, it's the blue one always. We have the Y axis is the green one, and we have the red axis, it's the X. Always the same axis. This is the move tool. If I want to move my shape in up or down, I would have to point at the Z axis, the blue arrow, and click and hold and move it up or down, up or down. If I need to move it to the right or to the left, I would move the X, the shape from the X axis. So I would point at the red arrow and move it right or left. The same with the Y. Okay? So this is the move tool, the letter W. If I hit the letter E, I have another type of gizmo. Okay? There are like some spheres there. And this is the rotate tool with the same colors, the same 3 axes, Z, Y, and X. Okay? Rotate in Z, in X, and in Y. Okay? Easy. And the last one is the scale tool, the letter R. It's another type of gizmo. It's for scaling things, resizing things. If I need to resize a shape, keeping the proportions, I have to point at the middle of that gizmo, and when it turns yellow, I just click and hold and move it up or down to make it bigger or smaller. If what I need to do is just to move it from the letter Y, okay, I will smash that, okay, and change it the way I need. Okay? Now, the last couple of things about this. How do I delete an object? First I selected with the letter Q, and then I hit the suprimir button, delete button. Okay. Here in 3D Max we can also have 500 options or opportunities to undo the actions that I already did. How do I do that? Only by hitting Control Z on the keyboard. Control Z. If I want to have those 500 options that I mentioned before, I have to go to Customize, Preferences, and here in General I change the levels of the scene undo and I put them in 500. Please do that at the very beginning when you open the program. Hit OK, and from then on you can undo 500 times all the things that you have done. Okay. Okay, the last thing is how to duplicate objects in 3ds Max. I only select the object, hit the letter W to move it, hold Shift and move the object. You are going to have this window, Clone Options. You just put it in copy, put the number of copies you want, 1 or up to 100. Let me put 5 for example, and hit OK. And you have exactly the same number of copies that you needed with the same measures and everything. Okay, so that's it for today. See you later, guys.